Bryan Stevenson is a hero, I think, for his life's work. Last 30 years, he's been dedicated to, fixing and righting the criminal justice system. He has exonerated so many people who have been wrongfully convicted. He doesn't tire. I think he's been fighting this fight for over 3 decades and continues to fight for the things that I think us as young people and us as a people in general are constantly protesting for and fighting for. He is fighting that battle, and the fact that he isn't a household name, I think, is one of the real reasons why I really wanted to portray him and put his message on the big screen. So I think that's one of the many reasons why I find him being so heroic. I think it was amazing, being here and in Baldwin, in the community that we tirelessly fight for. I want the young people, I want this community to feel a sense of pride and ownership over this movie. I want them to feel inspired, that they could be a part of the solution. I think some of these issues are so big, they seem so almost paralyzing. They feel like they can't do anything to be a part of the solution because it's such a big issue, and that's not the case. So I want them to feel like they can go out and and vote and be a part of that healing process that we need so bad. Hope is the main message from this film. Optimism, believing in things that you haven't seen before. Trying to envision a world that that's fair. And I feel like if you work hard enough, you can achieve it.
We talk about so many issues on social media, we talk about so many different things, but when you actually meet a person who really does civil rights work on the real level, a person who is a defense lawyer for people who don't have representation, people who are on death row, people who are disenfranchised, he works pro bono, and he does it every single day. So Bryan Stevenson's story is important. It's not only just to entertain, but to educate. And I appreciate what Michael B. Jordan has done, because Michael B. Jordan could be doing any movie that he wants to, but to do this movie, it means a lot. To me, I hope Bryan Stevenson becomes a household name because of what he does. We will do our movie, we will go into other movies, but Bryan will still be in the trenches working for people like my father, who was placed in jail for $25 worth of illegal substance for 7 years. And for people like that, regardless of what color you are, he's tirelessly working for that. So I think it's really important that this movie shines as bright as it can and get as many people into the theater to check it out. Oh man, come on, it's a community, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to do it for the people, and you got to bring it to the people. When you do a movie and you don't let the people get a chance to feel it, then why are we doing it? And what's great about it is they get a chance to see some of their own heroes and things like that. And what's interesting about this movie is that it tested in front of a mostly black audience, 97, tested in front of a mostly white audience, 98. So it's a human story, but to be able to come down here and let the people feel it, that's what's needed, because right now we've taken it to Toronto Film Festival, standing ovation. We've gone to Palm Springs, standing ovation. But to be here in front of your own folks, in front of your own people, that's what really counts. It all counts, but it's really special when we're here. It's a special feeling. There's so many messages, but hope is the first message, and then education is the next, and activation, to be active. Once I met Bryan Stevenson, now we're talking about taking people down to EJI and Alabama and making it a place to go to, so we can stay up on our history, so we can find out what's going on behind closed doors.
Bryan Stevenson is a hero because he has dedicated his life to being of service to such an important cause, to help people who are wrongly convicted and put on death row. He's dedicated his whole life to it and has built this incredible organization, EJI, that has now just continued to expand, and hopefully films like this can bring more exposure to the work that he's doing. excited to share Bryan's story. He is a real hero that a lot of people don't know about, doing this work quietly and diligently. And this is just an incredible opportunity to celebrate him, celebrate the work that he's doing, as well as all the other lawyers and people working with him at EJI, and also expose people to what's going on in our country right now. One thing that I love in particular about the woman that I play, Ansley, is I think it shines a light on what people in the audience that are not lawyers can do. That it really is about this sense of awareness and openness, first to looking at yourself and your own biases, then at the community around you, and seeing where you can be of service, where you can help.
I think it's determination to persevere under those kind of circumstances. You know, it's pretty easy to stand up for things you believe in when the movement is behind you. It's another thing to do it in an area where you're beyond unwelcome, you're unsafe, and to be able to face that kind of adversity is beyond admirable. Because of the cause itself and the time that we're in, I think it's also very important for our young African American children to see people that are truly role models. You know, I used to shoot baskets. We shoot hoops. You know, what Bryan Stevenson was able to do is actually affect lives and change lives. You know, we may be able to inspire people to do some pretty courageous things, but what he actually has done with his life makes him a true hero and a true inspiration. It's important to shed light on that. I took my daughter to go see it. We had a screening, and I took her to go see it. I felt like it was important for her to see that message, as well as it was for me to see that message. And I left the theater feeling inspired. We all can have a serious impact on someone's life, but he didn't do it alone either. He had other people around him that were just as brave and just as courageous to follow his lead, and to change the lives of so many. The idea of saving oneself is there was a great moment in the film where he had to make a decision. It was kind of a gut check for him, whether or not he wanted to go down this road. It was a great scene with him and his mother, and talking about kind of his life and what path he wants to take. And that is a gut check that we all go through, not at that extreme level of pressure and duress. But we all go through that moment where we have to make a choice with our life and what we want to do or not do. And it was inspirational to see that. And now, again, it's not at that level of what he had to go through, but we all have that moment within our life where we have to make a choice for ourselves.
And Michael, straight ahead, sir. And then Michael, Michael, straight ahead. To your left. And Michael, one more down the center, please, sir. Go right in front of you, sir. And Michael, one to your right. Jim, you looking straight ahead. One more time, straight ahead. And Mr. Foxx, there you go, straight ahead. And then Brie, right in front, please. And Brie, one more time, Brie, and looking right down here. A nice smile here. And then Brie, right in the center, please. Thank you. Mom, please. I love that smile. Just look to the left. And let me get you looking from the front, right here, please. One look to your left. Hold on one second.
What's up, man?
Jack a little. And straight ahead, right in front of you. Straight ahead. This is called the Magic Johnson. Oh! Looking straight ahead. One more time, there you go. And Kobe down the middle here, please.
There we go.
Terrance looking back.
And Terrance in the center again, one last time.
And a couple to your left, if you don't mind.
Smiles. We're in the hood, but we're in Hollywood right now.
Can I get one when you're done signing, brother?
Mike, you guys again? Mike, you guys again? Over here? Mike, right here, Michael. Mike again. Right here, Michael.
Thank you, guys.
What Bryan had to go through and the amount of perseverance in the face of true fear, true danger. It's not like, you know, the fear of missing a game-winning shot and then you lose the game or you lose the chain. No, it's dealing with real-life consequences. And to be able to have that amount of courage, that amount of determination, that amount of focus to persevere through tremendous odds, you're going to leave this theater feeling inspired beyond belief. So it is my honor to present this film to you, and it is my honor to bring up these fine people who made this film magic.
Kendrick, Brie Larson, Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan, and the man himself, Mr. Bryan Stevenson.
The reason that we are all up here is because a man who does not tire, he does not waver in what he does for us, for all people. Please stand again for Mr. Bryan Stevenson.
I was honored to be able to portray him in this movie. I was intimidated. I was very nervous, but I was motivated and inspired as well. And I hope you guys lead the theater that way.
To make a difference in the world, you've got to get closer to the things that matter. You can't stay disconnected. If you want to do something to help people who are being mistreated, you've got to get closer to the people who are being mistreated. If you want to do something to end poverty, you have to get closer to the poor. If you want to do something to help people in jails or in prison, you've got to get closer to people who have been jailed and in prison. And this film, this project, is an effort at trying to bring the world closer to the lives of so many people who've been treated unjustly, people who've been treated unfairly.
It's an incredible story, it's a true story, it's a remarkable story, and it's a life-changing story that will inspire you all in here.
Thank you.
Bryan Stevenson is a hero because he's actually saving lives. You know, people who feel that they're voiceless, people that feel that no one cares about them, that they're forgotten and still living. You know, he is the voice of the voiceless, and the stuff that he's doing is not only saving the lives of the individual, but repairing families, repairing houses. You know, he is doing what they call God's work, you know, and it didn't take him doing anything but caring and you know, giving a damn. And that's what's inspiring. When you can inspire others and you're actually doing things to change people's lives, that makes you a hero. It's a situation that affects, you know, most people in areas such as this. You know, it's so many of us as a people are dealing with wrongfully incarcerated family members that, of course, their family believes them that they're innocent, and sometimes you don't even need hard evidence to put people away in this wrongful criminal justice system that we have. So it's important to speak to the people who will be most affected by Just Mercy, because those are the people that will lead to the change that is needed from films like Just Mercy. All it takes is a spark to start a fire. And all it takes is one person to stand up, and the most powerful weapon we got is to inspire each other. A guy can write a song across the world that makes you feel some type of way. That little bit of inspiration might not ever meet him, but he gave you that. And Just Mercy, us as actors, we deal in visuals. So it's best to put this problem in your face, let you see it for what it is. And you know, this is the type of thing that gets an army behind one man.
Bryan Stevenson has the incredible ability to do the work in a way that I just think shows so much compassion, so much honor, so much dignity that he gives to everyone. He is the servant that we need and appreciate and don't necessarily deserve, but are so incredibly grateful for. So that's just a small bit about what makes Bryan a true superhero. this film forced me to ask and answer a question for myself. What is your something? What can you do from where you stand with what you have and who you have access to? What does that look like? And everyone has something, you know? Everyone may not be a Bryan Stevenson in terms of being an attorney and serving in that way, but everyone has the capacity and I believe the responsibility to serve. And so I hope that we all embrace that and find out what that is for ourselves and begin to move forward with that in mind.
So I hope the film gets people engaged. I hope it gets people to start thinking about the reality of some of these problems that we hear about, but I don't think we appreciate. And that's what excites me is I've always believed that if people saw what I see on a regular basis, they'd want the same things I want. They'd want our system to be more fair, more reliable. And I hope this film will kind of engage people in a way where we become more active in making that a reality. Because we really need to change the kinds of conditions that make the stories that we present in this film. It's still a current challenge. We have thousands of people in jails and prisons right now who are innocent. And I think that won't end until we become more active. If we allow ourselves to be governed by fear and anger, we will accommodate the kind of oppression and injustice that we often condemn. You know, the man in the story was convicted and sentenced to death because people were being shaped by fear and anger. And I think in these perilous times, we need to understand the threat that poses to a democratic society. And I hope people will recognize that we have to stand against, fear and anger. We have to be willing, to stand up for things that matter, that we accept, the things that are completely unacceptable. So that's what I'm hoping people will take away. We're already starting to see in our office just an uptick in people who are looking for legal help. There's so many families across this country, so many communities where these issues are very real and they're very familiar. And I'm just hoping that we can inspire people to believe that if you fight and you work, we can achieve justice. And that's very, very, very exciting for me. We have this line in the film, and I give it in my talks, that, you have to sometimes stand up when other people say sit down. You have to sometimes speak when other people say be quiet. I live in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm standing on the shoulders of people who did so much more with so much less. I mean, the people trying to do what I'm trying to do 60 years ago had to frequently say, my head is bloody but not bowed. I've never had to say that, but their courage and their commitment certainly defines and inspires me, and I hope that the work that we're doing will inspire another generation to keep fighting for the kind of justice, the kind of equality that we desperately need in this country. We do terrible things to poor people. We do terrible things to people who are presumed dangerous and guilty. We've done abusive things, and I think that needs to end, but it won't end until we become informed, we become motivated, and we take action. And that's what I'm hoping for, is that there'll be a motivation to be more active on these issues.
Bryan Stevenson is a hero because he fights for justice. He fights for all of us. When you watch this story and you watch the blood, sweat, and tears that he put into this, you're going to leave inspired. Michael B. Jordan is a good friend of mine. He worked so hard on helping to bring this project to life. It's a really important story. The stuff that was happening in the 80s and the 90s and all of that is still affecting us now. So stories like this plant those seeds and they plant those nuggets so that hopefully all of us can have a better tomorrow. There were moments in the film where I teared up. And I don't tear up much. Last time I teared up was The Lion King, so this definitely had me tearing up. There were moments during this film where I wanted to, throw my popcorn at the screen because I was so mad. Jamie Foxx's performance is piercing. Brie Larson is piercing. Mike crushes it, and it's just an emotional roller coaster. When I left, I felt inspired, I felt angry, I felt sad, but more so than anything, I want to make a difference and do more. So I'm happy we got to come to Baldwin Hills, bring some people together to watch this incredible project. This movie speaks to the fact that one person can make a difference. With everything that's happening in the world, sometimes we all feel helpless. And when you look at Bryan and what he did, and you look at his journey, it lets you know any one of us can make a difference and change the course of history. there are no superheroes to come save us. There's nobody else sometimes that can come from above or from somewhere else to save us. You know, he proves that any one of us can make a difference, and you know, only we can save us, and I think that's really important message. When you look at where we are today, there's still so much that needs to be changed. And stories like this, you know, inspire so many. The future people that run the criminal justice system, the future cops, the future district attorneys, the future lawyers, hopefully are watching films like this while they're in their 20s. So the people that are going to be in power positions 20, 30, 40 years from now are hopefully being inspired by stories like this today.